Hey, this is the World Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is a very controversial topic, particularly in the United States, which is a question of what is better, free healthcare or paid for healthcare? So for this video, I will use facts and logic to explain which healthcare system is better and which one is the lesser worse of them, and which one of course is the worst. So anyway, aside from that, just watch the whole video if you really want to understand it, and that is all I have to say. Anyway, let's get started. So when it comes to the question of which healthcare do I, and not just I, but logically speaking, is better, paid for healthcare or free healthcare, the simple answer is free healthcare. Now, the reason why free healthcare is better than paid healthcare is simply due to the fact that free healthcare, as I'm certain, anyone who's been on this planet, even for a short period of time has realized not everyone in the world is rich, and a vast majority, to be more specific, are not rich. We don't have money to spend freely on small things like getting a bad tooth and having to pay thousands of dollars for it. So the truth of the matter is, free healthcare is definitely better because it's more convenient and it offers opportunities for people regardless of their social economic background. Yes, it has some flaws, like the fact that sometimes you have long waiting lines and this and that and just random stuff, but at the end of the day, anything is better than possibly having to spend tens of thousands of dollars and possibly having to deal with the pressure of being in serious debt, or even, if anything, possibly being homeless, for all you know. So it's definitely a better system than paid for healthcare. Paid healthcare, to be quite honest with you. Because the paid healthcare, even if you make the argument of, paid healthcare has advantages, it's more quick and easy, the truth of the matter is the price is so high that I don't know how it really necessitates that, if anything. Like, even if you make that argument, the truth of the matter is that there's so much, to be quite honest with you, money that you have to pay. The truth of the matter is it really worth it in the end of the day? To have something as simple, because let's face it, we as human beings, we all get sick. We all get, whether it could be headaches, bad toothaches, injuries, and so on and so forth. Why is it every single time you have a situation should I feel like, oh God, I'm going to have to pay so much money for it? So that's the truth of the matter. And you can't even say, maybe the price could be lower, because knowing how this world works, and just in general for that matter, that doesn't make any sense, because at some point the price is going to go up. Because the truth of the matter is there's a lot of greed in this world. So making an argument about a compromise, maybe we could have a bit of a compromise, it doesn't work like that in real life. You have to do things one way or the other. People in this world get confused very, very, very easily. So you have to give straightforward answers. You can't just in life do things in a way where you come off as, we want to keep everyone happy. You can't keep everyone happy. You can only really keep, you can only keep a certain group of people happy, in all honesty, at the most, or at the very most, to be even more specific, the majority of people happy. But you can't keep everyone happy. Some people are just decide to be miserable, and that's really what I have to say. So the truth of the matter is you can't keep everyone happy, so it has to be either one way or the other. And I think it would make sense to go with the way where you can obviously survive and not have to pay a shitload of money, to be quite honest with you. So the truth of the matter is free healthcare is definitely better than paid healthcare. Not to mention, to add to that, because of the world we're living in now, this world where everything's becoming expensive. Heck, even video games are becoming expensive with with all these microtransactions and all this stuff. Even, not even to mention for other things, such as cars for crying out loud, that are now requiring microtransactions where you have to pay, this amount of money, or, you secretly have to pay this certain amount of money and all this type of crap and all that type of stuff. This is the world we are moving into. So in a world like this where life is getting more and more expensive, especially with things like inflation and stuff, who the fuck has the time to really waste their time and energy to pay that much money simply for like a chipped tooth? Like, who the hell has that amount of money anyway, with all these issues we're facing? So why the hell do we want to waste our time worrying about that stuff, to put it bluntly? So that's another point I want to make across when it comes to free healthcare. So that's my first overall point. Now, my second overall point when it comes to the issue of free healthcare, that also needs to be discussed, similar to the first but still different, is simply the fact of the matter is that what exactly is the purpose of having things so expensive? Because look at it this way. Why the hell does, in any society for that matter, does somebody have to pay so much money for small things? For small things. Like, you can get like in the States, you can get a slight cut on the side of the face, and you could possibly be paying, depending on who you speak to, thousands of dollars, or even tens of thousands of dollars to be more accurate, if anything. Why do you need to make things so expensive? Like, what is the purpose of that? Like, what does that serve? Even if, yes, money is important, what exact purpose does it serve? Which brings up the ethical issue of, why do we have to do these things in order to get these people rich, these people super rich? Because let's face it, a lot of the stuff doesn't have to be expensive. It's to pay for these people, these very successful doctors, to make a lot of money. So why should we, as hardworking everyday people, and just everyday people for that matter, should we have to put so much money in the pockets of these people who, in a lot of cases, to put it bluntly, probably don't even do that great of a job anyway? So that's another problem with that whole issue. Why does it need to be so freaking expensive? Like, what exactly do you gain from making things that expensive? And one more point, actually an extra I want to add into it, which kind of goes along with the first point, about the flaws of free healthcare. You also need to realize something that's important, okay? Which is the fact that how things are done, even with free healthcare and its limitations, you can always find ways in life around every problem. It just depends on how things are technically run. And this is something people don't understand. Whenever people say, let's solve a problem, they always think it's ideological or this or that. But sometimes it just simply comes down to how things are technically run. Like, for example, why don't we create bigger hospitals, for example, so the waiting times are not as long? Why don't we hire more staff? Because the people who pay for them is for the government. Why don't we do things like that? There are ways around problems like that, that might even work. Heck, why don't we even have hospitals, walk-in clinics that might run for 24 hours straight, which would make it less likely that, you have to wait such huge ass lineups and stuff. There are ways around, technical ways around this free healthcare problem. So the idea that, I have to, wait this long and all that type of all that type of stuff, and so I prefer paid healthcare is simply nonsense. So the truth of the matter is, I disagree. I completely I'm for free healthcare because in the end of the day, you might be doing well in life. Everything's all well. An accident happens. It catches you off guard. You didn't see it coming. Now you could be paying anywhere between $50 and $100,000. So it's better to wait a few hours, a few long ass hours in a place than to actually have to spend that amount of money and have to be on the street for God's sakes, for all you know. So that's really what I have to say. Anyway, this is my video. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. If you like videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say, and simply put it, later.